If you're not driving or doing something that requires your immediate attention, why not pick up that rectangle that we all worship, navigate to the place that my disembodied voice is emanating from, and poke the screen where all the stars are? Preferably the place on the screen where it lights up the most stars so it looks like a childhood millennial bedroom ceiling just littered with glow-in-the-dark stars. If you're a millennial that never had glow-in-the-dark stars on your ceiling, my heart goes out to you. Like, rate, review, subscribe. Please do all those things so you can know what I'm up to and what the astro weather is, because I'm dying to tell you. The success, continuation, and public reach of these astro weather reports, it rests upon you, my dear listener, my dear supporter. So please, won't you take a moment to throw some stars my way or share the podcast? If my husband can get his blue-collar coworkers to tune in and enjoy it, who they are not my typical demographic, if they can tune in and enjoy, I'm sure there's someone in your life that might enjoy it as well. Other than my need for internet validation, I also want to let you know that my books for astrological consultations will be opening next week. I've added a few new astrological tutoring classes, including a lunar nodes class. So if you're not interested in getting a reading, but you want to learn astrology straight from the centaur's mouth, then there's a class for that. If you want to know exactly when my books are open for all these things that I just mentioned, be sure to be on my mailing list. Even I don't know the exact date that I'm going to open them. Could be Monday, could be Wednesday. It's all up to chance. I leave it all up to feeling and fate. So to know for sure, get on that mailing list on my website. All right, enough. On to today's forecast. I'm happy to report that this week has no planetary ingressions, no lunar events, and no eclipses of any sort. Eclipses for 2025 have officially concluded, so it's all just regularly scheduled lunar events from here on out. Since we're not having any major planetary ingressions or lunar events, we can turn our attention to just regular old transits. Most of the planets aren't doing a whole lot this week, which is kind of nice considering we've just come off of an eclipse cycle, and there have been a lot of planets changing signs. And one of those was the sun. The sun recently ingressed into Libra, so we are full swing in Libra season. Remember what I said last week about people mirroring us or social connections coming up more? Consciousness is currently in cardinal air, which means we're concerned with others, maybe a little bit indecisive, and we very much want to look cute. An example of this is I've been growing out my hair for 2 years now to my natural color, and last week when it was finally Libra season, I cut it all off. It was beautiful, it's wonderful, it's a great time for me, I'm super happy. But things like that, we're concerned with curating a more balanced, harmonious appearance, we're concerned with how we appear to others, the connections we make. That's going to be a theme for at least the next month since we are in Libra season. The biggest astrocurrent this week is definitely coming from Venus and Virgo and also some Chiron action. Venus is going to be conjunct Ketu, the south node. Virgo is a realm that just dealt with a lot of eclipse energy, and we're fresh off of that double Virgo new moon. So Venus being conjunct Ketu within Virgo means that the area that rules Virgo for us might see a dip in Venusian topics, relationships of all kinds. They might become draining towards the end of the week. That's not just romantic. That's coworkers, that's platonic, that's friends, that's people on the street. Anyone you form a connection with, relationships will be draining. And then this is compounded by the fact that it is Libra season, which I already said has us thinking about connection, harmony, equality, relationships. To know exactly how relationships might feel draining, look to the realm of Virgo in your chart. For us Libra risings, it's mentally draining since it's our 12th house. Just because it's draining doesn't mean it's bad though. Venus is still a benefic, it brings goodness, that's what it does. It's just that the ability to do so is lessened towards the end of the week, and it doesn't help that it's also in fallen dignity. We might find that we're overly critical or anxious when it comes to relationships or the topics that are within the realm of Virgo for you personally. Around the same time Venus is feeling drained, Mercury is going to be opposing Chiron and Jupiter is going to square Chiron. So not only will we be feeling less goodness within the realm of relationships, friendships, and connection, but there's a chance for miscommunications to get out of hand. The end of the week can be really fruitful if we speak our minds in a fair and considerate way. Emphasis on fair and considerate because Mercury is in Libra. Our emotions might get the best of us if we aren't cautious about how we engage with our anxiety. It might be hard to stay grounded or level-headed towards the weekend, but if you can manage to do so, there is a good chance for healing, reconciliation, and furthering our progress with our wounds of Chiron and Aries. I don't know about you guys, but Chiron and Aries feels so played out, and this is coming from someone who has an Aries moon and loves Aries energy. We still have like 2 more years until it fully leaves Aries. It's sometime in 2027. So there's more work to be done. But we are hopefully getting better at speaking up and taking controlled action when it comes to things that incite our wounds within the realm of Aries. The opposition with Mercury and Chiron also speaks to mental stress that we might be feeling. Both Mercury and Venus will be making aspects that create mental strain or problems we need to tackle in a logical and harmonious way. I think the main theme we're going to be dealing with this week boils down to mental stress, especially towards the end of the week. It's like we're forgetting to see the potential positives in our situation, or we're allowing our emotions and anxiety to cloud judgment. This will be short-lived because transits aren't super long all the time, especially when things like Mercury are involved. Mercury zips by. So it will be short-lived. It'll be contained to the weekend. So when you feel your anxiety ramping up, or you're having an overly critical or emotional reaction to something that doesn't warrant that reaction, bring yourself back to center as best you can. When the wounds of Chiron and Aries are spurred, we're either reaching for knee-jerk reactions that are often based in fear or anger. Libra season is not about fear or anger. It's about balance and harmony. So to combat anxiety, fear, anger, or emotions that don't serve the situation, reach for balance, logic, justice, and courage. Sometimes being brave means standing up to our own anxiety and saying, it's okay, I got this. Like just quieting that voice in your mind, like, nope, stop. Nope, not listening to you. This is not the time. This is not the place. I'm not going to let this get out of control and take control of me. As you're going through the week, look for opportunities to express your opinion or assert a boundary, even if it feels awkward, scary, or like you're not in control. And this can be with yourself. This can be you saying, no, I am not going to let this anxiety or this overly emotional response control what I am doing. The way we're going to settle the wounds of Chiron is through tempered, logical, and wizened action. Because if we look at the planets involved with Chiron this week, it's Jupiter in Cancer, which that's the wisdom, and then Mercury in Libra, which is tempered and logical. To ease the tension, to squash the beef, we need to make the wounds of Chiron less inflammatory for ourselves and for others through steady, logical action and communication. As someone who is bold and fiery myself, I know this is easier said than done when in the moment. The reason you're listening to this forecast, though, is to get a jump on the energy. The first signs that something is brewing will be with Venus in the realm of Virgo, because our anxiety, our desire for control, our critical nature, that intense voice that just wants to be critical of things, that's going to start to flare, and then will come the chironic wounds of Aries and us acting up and maybe not asserting boundaries good enough or doing things the way that we should do them that we know will actually help ourselves. The weekend can be really fruitful if we keep these wounds in mind, but there's also a chance for us to backslide a little bit or be shown new facets of the wound if we don't face it head on. Think about it. Healing is not linear. We all know that. So yes, we've been working with the wounds of Chiron and Aries for a good while now, a good couple years. But that wound is going to morph and change. Every time we rip the Band-Aid off and look at the scab, it's going to look different. So maybe this weekend you're going to see a new facet of the wound, and you might not know how to deal with it at first, and that's okay. Just try not to let your anxiety or your emotions or any other things that are spurring you to grapple for control in a way that doesn't actually serve you. So have a great week. Do things that allow you to feel balanced and speak your mind in a harmonious way, not in a way that downplays the message, but in a way that makes the message helpful and allows it to be delivered with care. Thank you for tuning into this week's forecast. If you want a more detailed look at what this week's astro weather holds for you personally, go to my website, moonmattersastrology.com, and sign up to receive my zine. You can also find me on Patreon by searching for Moon Matters. The best way to keep up to date with my work or to book a reading with me is to sign up for my mailing list on my website. I'll meet you back here next week. But until next time, later days.